Hello everyone, are you all ready to listen to the continuation of this lesson from class 10, the prose, the sermon at Benaras? We are going to deal today with Kisa Gautami's story. So let's not waste any time, and I hope you remember what all we had done in the previous part 1. Gautama Buddha, after he got enlightenment under the peepal tree, the name changed into Bodhi tree, and he gave his first sermon at Benaras. Now, those of you who do not know the meaning of the word sermon, let me tell you here. It is to tell what is right, what's wrong. Very simple. Sermon means to understand after a person tells you what is right, what is wrong. How can you say that what is right and what is wrong is that easy? It is because it is illustrated with examples. Examples are given, a point is explained, and examples are given, like how you should go about it. So automatically you will be able to understand what is the right thing, and that is the sermon. So let us see now what the story of Kisa Gautami is. Kisa Gautami had an only son. Like many people, she had just one son, but it's her bad luck. She lost the child. The child died. So we can understand how a mother is at such a time, isn't it? She was in grief, unbearable pain. So what did she do? She carried her child from house to house in the whole neighborhood, and she was begging for medicine. Please give me medicine. Please give me medicine. And people thought, what's this? Has this lady lost some senses? Doesn't she realize that the child is dead? That is what they all thought. But why did this lady cry so much? Why did she mourn so much? It's because of one important thing. She loved her child, and she had just one child, and so she was not able to understand the real meaning of life. Gautama Buddha is the person who made her really understand what life is eventually. We'll come to that very soon. At length, in the end, Kisa Gautami met a man who replied to her request. I cannot give thee medicine for thy child, but I know a physician. What did this person say? Kisa Gautami met many people, isn't it? So one particular man whom she had gone to felt pity on her, and so he told her that he could not give the medicine directly, but he told her that he would direct her to a doctor. And he told that the doctor was Sakya Muni. When this lady, she said, oh, come on, please tell me, sir. She requested that person to tell who it was, and the man asked her to go to Sakya Muni, and that is the Buddha. And eventually she had gone because she just wanted her child to be normal. Her child must become all right, isn't it? So Kisa Gautami repaired to the Buddha and cried, Lord and Master, give me the medicine that will cure my boy. So what did she do? She went to the Buddha and she asked for the medicine. She wanted her child to become all right, and that's the reason why she asked him to give some medicine which could cure the boy. We must all remember one thing here. What is that? We know that if a person dies, there is no medicine. We can use the word cure only when a person is alive and they are suffering. But this lady has really lost her senses. She is not able to understand that her child has no life, but still she is asking for some medicine that would maybe revive the child, bring the child back to life. So what happened? The Buddha answered. He told very nicely, I want a handful of mustard seeds. Look at the simple remedy the Buddha gave. He told that he wanted a handful of mustard seeds. Just mustard seeds. Now you can see how the lady felt. She jumped in joy maybe. It's because mustard seeds, they are available in every threshold. She can go knock the door of any house and say, come on, please give me a handful of mustard seed. It's that easy, isn't it? In case it had been that easy, everyone could have revived their loved, their near ones, their dear ones, isn't it? No, that is not the point. The reason for that is, he added an extra thing. What did he add? He added, Buddha added. He said, the mustard seeds must come from a house where no one had died, whether it is a child, a father, a mother, a husband, a friend, a relative, a brother, whoever it may be. No human being must have died in that house, and that is the condition. Is there any house like that? Can it be possible to find such one? Impossible, isn't it? So what will be the ultimate result? We can guess it easily, though in those days or in that particular time, Kisa Gautami could not do it. It is because she was blinded by the love of her child, and she was grieving because he was not there. And since he was not there, she wanted to do something. What is it that she wanted to do? Wanted to get back her child. So poor Kisa Gautami went from house to house, and the people pitied her and said, here it is, take it. So every house, whichever house she had gone to, what happened? They pitied her. They felt sorry for her, and they told her that it was there, and they gave it to her. But when she asked, did anyone die in your family? They answered her, alas, the living are few, but the dead are many. And there was no house but some beloved one who had died in it. So as soon as she took the handful of mustard seed, very happily she took them. And then she asked the question that the Buddha asked her. What was the question? He asked her to procure these seeds from a house where no one had died. No near and dear, no relation had died. So when she asked that, they were sad. It is because every household had more number of deaths than the number of people alive in that particular house. It's very easy for us to understand. Why? Let us imagine a house which was constructed maybe some 60-70 years ago. And in that 60-70 years ago, there might have been people living of different ages, maybe a grandfather, grandmother, and then the children and the grandchildren. So automatically, we find someone or the other passing away in that house. So, number of people living in course of time are lesser than the number of people who had died. And this was the point which was shared by every household member. You can look at the pictures and you can understand the anxiety that she had, the replies that she got. So, what could happen then? She was able to understand that she was in ignorance. She was in darkness. When did she realize this? Look, Kisa Gautami became weary and hopeless in despair and sat down at the wayside, watching the lights of the city as they flickered up and were extinguished again. At last, the darkness of the night reigned everywhere. So she sat. Maybe there was some street light. Maybe she sat here. She might have sat in this place, not able to understand how life was going on. And her total concentration was on the light. I'm just showing you one light, but there, maybe she was looking at all the lights everywhere, far off. And she observed that the lights were flickering, going up and down, and she was able to understand from a distance. We all know that because of the dust particles which come in the way, we cannot see them as if they are constantly glowing in the same length. We feel as if they are increasing in length and then diminishing, isn't it? And then she understood that there was only one thing which was surrounded everywhere. And what's that? Darkness. Darkness, exactly as it was in her life. She had lost her child and she is in darkness. And here, darkness reigned everywhere. Here it's like ruling the whole of the world. In that part of the hemisphere at least, night was there and it was ruling. Let's see what happened then. What realization came to her when she saw that the lights were flickering? And she considered the fate of men, that their lives flicker up and are extinguished again. And she thought, how selfish am I in my grief? Death is common to all, yet in this valley of desolation, there is a path that leads him to immortality, who has surrendered all selfishness. Realization. She has understood what Gautama Buddha wanted to teach her when she was totally tired both physically, mentally, in both the ways. She had lost a child, her only son, and she was first of all crushed mentally. And then when she went from house to house and she realized that there wasn't a house in which there was no one dead, she realized. Added upon that, she was able to see the lights. Lights which were not stable, but they were flickering, going up and down. Then she thought, this is called faith. This is what makes people understand that we will not have all the time only one variety in life, joy. No. Why? It is because we are all human beings. We are all born. And if we are all born, eventually we are going to die. We cannot become mortals. We are immortals. And she felt that how selfish she had been. She really felt about it. See how she says, how selfish am I in my grief? It happens. A person becomes blinded. Blinded when they are overcome with grief. And that's the reason they cannot understand what they are doing. See, if at all we take a normal human being in day-to-day life, why let me take a child itself. A child who has fallen down and got some hurt. In case it's the first time that the child has got hurt, the child forgets everything else and feels only about the pain. But in case the child gets another hurt second time, then the child realizes, oh, that pain wasn't this much. A realization comes. I'm not sermonizing here. I'm just trying to tell you how this lady might have felt when she realized that she's selfish. It's because life and death are compulsory in a world where all things which are living, it's not just about human beings, it's about all the living creatures. They go off from this earth, leaving the body here. So let's see what else happened. So now she might have gone to Buddha, and what did he say? The Buddha said, the life of mortals, that means all those who die, in this world is troubled and brief and combined with pain. So what should we understand? Can we live here forever? Is there any possibility for any person to live here forever? Impossible, isn't it? So whoever is the person, how is the life? The life is troubled and it is brief. With this brevity, we have one more thing also. There is a combination with pain. No one can forfeit pain. It will be there. So what does it mean? For there is not any means by which those that have been born can avoid dying. After reaching old age, there is death. Of such a nature are living beings. See, here there is a point. It's not philosophy also. It's a natural process. A living being, take any creature, insects also, any big creatures which are presently on the earth, maybe the whales or the elephants, human beings, whoever it is. They are born. As they grow old, they die. See, a person dying in old age is regarded as a normal feature, isn't it? This lady, Kisa Gautami, might have become so sorrowful, she might have been in distress, retake. She might have been in distress because her son was after all a child. Here, Buddha is telling that everyone is troubled in the life and it is with a combination of pain, it is a short one. It's not a thing which is there forever. And so this lady got affected so badly. Now there are other examples that Gautama Buddha gives. Look at what you had seen on the tree. What did you see? Can you see now? There are fruit falling off. What does it mean? Any tree which bears fruit, first the flowers, then they come fruit. Once they bear the fruit, they will not be there forever. They fall off. They fall off eventually once they are ripened. The same thing is applicable to human beings also. Let us take the next example, and that is pottery. Whenever we have the pots, we all know that we use this earthenware for the sake of any kind of storing, cooking. Nowadays people are cooking in earthenware. But how careful should we be? Very careful. Suppose it's a steel utensil, we are not that careful. We might just put it there, we might lift it, put it on the stove, wherever we are putting it, we are not that careful. Because we know that they're strong enough, they're not going to break. But earthen vessels, part one, that is clay ones, they are delicate, they're vulnerable. In case you're not going to handle them carefully, they just break. And the Buddha has made us understand about life. 3D retake. The Buddha had made us understand the essence of life with these two examples. A ripe fruit will never be on the tree. Any earthen vessel, it will not stay forever. It has to eventually break. See, there might be someone telling that no, we have earthenware which are very old. They might be. I don't say no for that. But again, it's exception. But they're not going to be there forever. That's also there. So these are the two examples with which Gautama Buddha made everyone understand. So now what is there? Whether it is young children or it is adults, whoever it is. Whether a person is wise, intelligent, or a person is a fool, not able to understand anything, whoever it is, death embraces compulsorily once in a person's life, and that is the end forever. And that is the power of death. There are two things people say are impartial: time, death, both of them. And everyone is afraid of them, and that's the reason they utilize it to the best of their being, because you cannot say that we are going to be fine without it. Now, of those who overcome by death, see, there might be people who die. It happens, isn't it? When life is there, we know that people die. And when anyone dies, what happens? Whoever is dead, in case that person's father is alive, and will the father say, come on, I can't allow my son to die like that, I want my son back. Will he be able to stop it? No. Will there be any possibility for the relations to stop them? No. Please understand one thing. These are not my words, the Buddha's words. What is it that he's telling? One person dies and all of them are lamenting, they are grieving, they're crying, it's unconsolable. And we do not know when the person who is crying also is going to die, isn't it? That is life. You might be crying for the sake of someone and we do not know who is the next one to go. It is because one after the other, when their time comes, they leave. And he has given a beautiful example telling how an ox is carried or taken to a butcher's place, a slaughterhouse. You know, a slaughterhouse where they kill animals for the sake of taking the meat for the sake of human beings. Now, let us take the situation. One ox is being led by the butcher to the slaughterhouse. Will the other oxen cry and say, come on, please don't take our ox, he's my brother or he's my friend or he's someone? Will the man understand? Maybe that ox in the heart of heart is really telling it. But can the man understand? Or whoever is leading the horse, or whoever is leading that ox to the slaughterhouse, will they understand? No, impossible. It goes exactly in the same way. All the human beings, if they are crying, when they are crying for someone's death, it goes on exactly the way an ox is taken to a slaughterhouse. One by one, everyone gets his or her chance, and they cannot look back and say, no, I can't. It's impossible. Totally impossible. Now, what should we do in order to be free from this pain? Pain of what? Suffering. Why do we have all this pain, first of all? It is because of one important reason, isn't it? Why? We love them. They are our near and our dear, isn't it? Can we have a relation which can stop and say, no, I'm not going to have that much of love, that much of affection, that much of bonding? Is it possible? It might not be, isn't it? So what the Buddha says, he who seeks peace should draw out the arrow of lamentation and complaint and grief. So in case you take this as the bow, let me draw this in this way. This is the bow. We need to put an arrow, isn't it? So what happens to it? Automatically, the drawstring, it stretches. This is how it looks then. Yes, so we have kept the arrow ready. He is telling that this arrow, what is it? It is complaint, it is grief, and it is also lamentation. All the three in one. Once it is ready, what should you do? Leave it. Leave all the pain, leave all the grief, leave all the complaint. Lamentation is what? Suffering. Oh, this happened, that happened. Don't. Complaining, that one did this one did that. No. Grief, sorrow. Put them just as we put to a bow, the arrow, and stretch it out, leave it. It goes off. And then he is telling that he who has drawn out the arrow and become composed. Retake. He who has drawn out the arrow and has become composed will obtain peace of mind. So in case you remove this arrow of all these three things, let me draw it better. Whoever has removed this arrow, lamentation, complaint and grief, in case you had left off this arrow, what is the result? You get peace of mind. And this peace of mind is a pretty costly thing. There are so many people who have wealth, but they don't have this peace of mind. And then the writer continues to say, here let me say the Buddha, let me not say the word writer. What does he say? Who, retake, he who has overcome all sorrow will become free from sorrow and be blessed. So once there is no sorrow, you have overcome it, isn't it? It's because you have obtained peace. So what will be the end result again? You become blessed. You will not have any more pain. You will not have any sorrow in life. That is what he says. So what should we do? So the world is afflicted with death and decay. Therefore, the wise do not grieve, knowing the terms of the world. So what happens? We all know that the whole world is affected. Affected with what? Death, decay. Decay means rotting. So whoever is wise, what will they do? They will not feel sorry for death. Not from weeping nor from grieving will anyone obtain peace of mind. On the contrary, his pain will be greater and his body will suffer. See, in case a person starts grieving and weeping to feel sorry about something, do you think that you will be able to get peace of mind? No. What happens when you start to grieve? It increases. The sorrow increases. It will affect even the body. And how will the person become? The person becomes sick. The person becomes pale, that is yellowish. And ultimately, he will suffer and suffer and suffer. So what should we do? We should stop all this negativity. I hope everyone understood what is there till here. Yes, let's now continue. I hope everyone understood what is taught so far. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. Have a good time.